Hi, my name is Jess Milanis, and I am the owner of Smart Podcast Solutions. And I want to tell you all about Adam's Podcast Coach Credentialing Program. I literally, minutes ago, just graduated from this program, and it has been so amazing. It has given me so much confidence in helping my clients not only launch their shows, but grow their shows once they already are launched. I have seen such tremendous return on my investment working with Adam and meeting other amazing podcast production folks. If you are thinking about growing your podcast production business, you need to show up and do this.
Hey there, Pod Pals. Before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to give you a quick heads up that I'm opening up registration for my next podcast growth coach certification cohort. This certification program is ideal for any podcast managers or coaches that want to learn my proven podcast growth system and add a podcast growth service to their business platform. Our next certification cohort will launch in September of 2024, and you can get more info and apply to join with the link in the episode notes or head on over to www.podcastingbusiness.school. What's up, Pod Pals? It's your buddy Adam, and you are listening to Podcasting Business School. It's the show where I teach podcasters how to love their show like a hobby and build it like a business. So today we're digging into the business aspect of online branding and podcasting. And we're talking a little bit about how to audit and improve your online business offers. And this is something that I've been doing a lot of this year. I created one major new offer that was my podcast growth coach certification. I'm going to use that as an example as we do this. But I've been doing a lot of just improvements in auditing current offers. Like my signature offer, I'm getting ready to rebrand that, do some improvements there. In my online business academy, I'm going to do some changes and improvements there. This is a process that I feel like we don't do enough of. I think that some of us have current offers that are working to a certain point or that have worked pretty well, and then they kind of slow down a little bit. And that's a good time to audit it and go, okay, what's working, what's not? Let's work on improving that or getting it back to where we want it to be sales wise or performance wise, instead of just creating new offer after new offer after new offer. I feel like we've got the bones of a lot of really good stuff with our current offers for those of us that have more than one offer or an existing offer. I always think it's a better idea to look at, can we improve that and make that work better before we go, hey, let's create something completely new. So that's just kind of something to keep in mind. And this is something, if you do have a current offer, let's go, okay, let's look through these. I've got 5 different variables I want you to look at and audit your current offer based off of those variables and see if we can make some improvements. Or if you are launching your first offer or creating a new offer, like I did with my certification program, this process directly applies. This is the process I'm directly going through, right here, right now with my certification. So to give you some background context on that, over the last year and a half, I've been realizing that more and more people out there that listen to my show are podcast coaches, podcast editors, podcast managers, and they are hungry for some mentorship in this space. And I saw a need in this space where there's a lot of people that are calling themselves podcast coaches. They've done a year of podcasting. They're excited about it. They want to go and coach other people on it. And I support that. But I wanted to bring a level of skill and just dependable growth skills and systems to that part of the space. Because I've grown multiple shows, over 500,000 downloads now in different niches with my own brand. And then I'm reproducing that with my clients and with you guys that are listening to the show. So that was my goal with the certification. I want to add some, a standard of, if you call yourself a certified podcast growth coach, there is a standard there. I'm putting my stamp of approval on it. And that was the whole idea of putting this together. I'm just wrapping up my beta group. So that's gone extremely well. So I'm going to use this as an example for how to audit and improve a current offer. All right. And I think doing a beta test group is kind of like a bonus pro tip. If you are launching something new, beta test that sucker and let's see if it works first. And then if it does, then we can obviously audit it and work to improve it. So that's where I'm kind of at right now with the certification program. Is beta group, huge success, better than expected results. loved everything about it, but I do see room for improvement. And that's where I'm going through this process. I'm like, this would make a really good episode for the show. So let's dig in. So we've got 5 different variables that we're going to audit for your offer. We've got sales and the type of person that was buying. We're going to audit that. We're going to look at client education experience. We're going to look at the expected results and what actually happened compared to the expected results. We're going to look at our personal experience as the coach, the program leader, the creator of the offer. And then the 5th variable we're going to audit is pricing, based off, and sales and pricing are 2 different things that I'm auditing, and it'll make sense once we kind of break it down. But yeah, pricing, like, are we happy with what we charge compared to the work that we put in? So let's look at these individually. The first thing, sales. To me, the key question was sales. I'm looking at the front end. Did the ideal clients sign up? Did we attract and sell to the ideal person that should be buying this program? All right. This is an important question, because if we get wrong fit people jumping in, like, some of us are really good at sales, not me. All right. I've documented that many times, but my own method that I've created works for me. But some people out there can just sell the hell out of stuff. And that's good when it comes to making money, but they're getting a lot of bad fit people in the program, and bad fit people produces bad results, negative feedback. People out there going, "Oh, I didn't get what I paid for," and there's a negativity around an offer or a brand, and that's not good. So the first thing I want you to audit is, with your offer, are the ideal people signing up, the people that are a great fit, that you can help the most, that you're most excited to work with, that it makes the most sense for them to be signing up. Are they buying this offer? And are they doing it like it's a no-brainer? You're not having to hard sell them. This is very apparent to them that this is what they need, and you're the right person to help them solve this pain point. So for my certification, again, we're going to use this as an example through all the 5 variables. The ideal people that should have been signing up and actually did sign up for this are podcast managers, podcast launch coaches, anybody that is a podcast editor, producer, all those types of labels, service providers in the podcasting space, coaches of podcasters. Those are the people I marketed to, and those are the people that signed up. So I felt really good about this. We did have a few people that wanted to add this as a new service. They were in the coaching space in general, and they wanted to add this because a lot of their clients are podcasters. That made sense. That was an ideal fit. We had even a few VAs that they are a VA of a podcaster, and that podcaster paid for them to get this certification so that they could help them, and then they kind of add that to their portfolio. So those are all really good fit people for this offer, and that showed, with the results. So that's the first thing that we have to look at is, are we attracting and signing up the ideal fit client that you can best help, and they can get the best results from this offer? That's the first area that I want you to audit. The second area that I want you to audit with your offer is the client education experience. So that next step, you get the right people signing up. We have to look at, what was their experience like? All right. And do we need to change anything? That's what I love about doing a beta group. Like with my beta group, I give myself 6 months. I'm like, this is gonna be a 6-month beta group. That's more time than what we need, but I want to have lots and lots of buffer to change things as we go. And I did. I did make some changes on the fly. So like a key question with the client education experience is, are they able to consume the information and apply it as expected? Can they consume it and apply it as I had expected, the expectations that I had set? And is the cadence, is the pace right? So with my certification, there's an online course, there's homework with that online course, and there's weekly meetings, and then there's some one-on-one time. And I really kind of had my ear to the ground. I'm talking to my people. I'm kind of looking at, are they able to keep pace with the homework? And, just all cards on the table. I gave them too much too fast. I gave them a lot of homework assignments. And like I said, the advantage of doing a beta group is huge. So my initial goal was to have kind of a 4-week education experience. And I had to add a buffer week in there, because after week 1 and week 2, people were struggling to keep up with the weekly homework. They were like, this is a lot. And I had a few people just mow right through it, but the majority, we had 15 people in the beta group. I would say like a third were able to keep up and 2/3 were not. So I'm like, this is a bad sign. I need to slow things down. So I added a buffer week in there. I said, hey, don't worry about any homework this next week. We're adding another week to the program, and we are going to just hit pause on homework. I want you to catch up. I'm going to, do additional coaching to help you get caught up, extra office hours, things like that. So that was an on the fly move that I made. And that was something like auditing the client education experience that really helped. So in my next cohort, I'm going to add buffer weekend after week 1 and after week 2. So that's the most homework heavy part of the entire certification process, week 1 and week 2. There's 4 weeks of homework, but week 1 and week 2 are really more homework heavy. So I'm going to add a buffer week with no new assignments between week 1 and week 2, and then between week 2 and week 3. And I got feedback from my participants like, yes, that is a great idea. That'll be super helpful. That'll give you plenty of time to get all the homework done and stay caught up and stay plugged in. So I had to really take an honest look at that client education experience. And if you move too fast through it and you have 2/3 of your people aren't able to keep pace, that's a glowing red light alarm going, hey, we need to slow things down and we need to make an adjustment here. So I kind of did an audit in the experience with my beta group. But moving forward, I'm like, okay, that buffer week needs to happen in between, those first couple of weeks in between week 2 and week 3, just to allow them to stay caught up and stay like, okay, they can still have another job and keep up with all the homework that I'm asking them to do. And then the other thing I noticed was I mentioned with my beta group, I gave it a 6-month timeline. And that was that. I think that was the right move for a beta group. But we did have a few people like, oh, I've got 6 months. I don't have to keep pace with all the homework, and I can kind of just mosey through it a little bit. And I felt like their experience may not have been as beneficial by not keeping up with the group and kind of experiencing the group calls all at the same cadence. So I'm trimming it down with my next cohort in the fall of 2024 here. I'm going to trim it down to a 12-week experience from a 6-month, basically to a 3-month. And I think that that's going to be a better overall experience for everybody, myself included, because as a coach, we have to look at what we're doing. And I'm going to talk about that here in a little bit. But I found myself with people all across the gamut of the certification, where I had people that were at the end fully certified and people that were still working through the first few homework assignments at the same time. And that's having my brain in all those different levels of the experience isn't optimal. So I think shortening it up and kind of putting the heat on, going, hey, we got 12 weeks. You really need to keep pace, giving you plenty of time to get the homework done. I'm going to talk to everybody that's applying for the next cohort. I'm going to talk to all of them individually before I accept them in and go, listen, you need to be able to keep pace with this. And if it's not the right time, then, do the next cohort. I'll save your spot. So we're going to have open and upfront conversations about that. So that's the client education experience is really important, because the next thing we're going to audit is the expected results. And without the right clients signing up and without a really dialed in client education experience, that we're able to throw our ego out the window and go, what do they actually need from me? And what adjustments do I need to make as the leader? If we check those 2 boxes, we're able to produce really good expected results, or results as good or better than we had put out there for ourselves. So the expected result I really wanted out of my certification offer was the students, the people doing it, their ability to apply my system for organic discoverability and effort-based marketing for podcast growth. I'm like, I want them by the end of this experience to be able to think like me when it comes to podcast growth and apply my unique thinking and systems just at that same level as what I would be doing. I know that's a high bar because I got a long time in the game. I'm like, if I really educate them correctly and they've got my system to lean on, I think they can do this. And, on top of that, I want them to be able to integrate new skills into their current offers. So the new skills that they're learning in the certification, I'm like, hey, they need to be able to apply these to their current offers with their current clients so they can potentially have better retention rates or increase their pricing. I want them to be able to create new offers. So if they're doing podcast editing, then now they can do a 90-day podcast growth offer or a membership. And then I wanted to help make sure they set up a client attraction system so that they're using my methodology is to actually attract new people to their business as new clients. So I had really high expected results. And I think we have to set the bar high when we're auditing and really honestly look at what is actually happening with the people going through your offer, whether it's a consulting program, a 6-week signature offer, a membership. Are their expectations being met? Are your expectations being met? If not, what can we do to improve them? All right. So I had these 4 expected results, and I was really thrilled with the way that it worked, and came out the other side with people that are finishing the program. Um, it's awesome. Really psyched about it, better than expected. And people are out there making money before, as they got certified and as they set up these systems, they're attracting new clients. Um, I had a really cool testimonial that just came in with somebody that added a growth program, already had 4 people sign up for it, brand new offer, thrilled. So yeah, that kind of exceeded expectations. But we have to be honest at this point in the game and go, are people like what if it wasn't working and people were like, I don't understand how to apply this and create my own offer? Then I have to go back in and rewire things a little bit and go, what do I need to improve in that client education experience to make sure that my expectations and more importantly, their expectations as the participant are being met? All right. Next variable, our experience, my experience. All right. Important questions to ask. How was my energy level throughout the certification process? Was I able to add value at my level of expectation? Like, was I wore out doing this? Was I showing up going, hey, this is awesome. This is where I want to be. These are people that I want to be with, or was it wearing me out? So this is, again, really important when it comes to auditing your offers, because I feel like we all want to over deliver and we're all hungry at the beginning, but sometimes we get into an offer and it's like, oh my God, I'm spending a ton of time with these people and it's kind of wearing me down. Or if you're doing one-on-one coaching consulting, we have to be even more mindful of our time, because that's now a limiting factor. If you're doing one-on-one mid-ticket or higher ticket services, that's fun, but you've only got so many hours in the day that you can work. So how was your energy level? Are you bringing in the financial results that you were after? Do you notice anything as far as, maybe you would like to move from one-on-one to group, or just, we have to be honest with our own experience at this point. And, are we showing up at the level that we need to show up to impact those people that are paying us their hard-earned money? So we have to audit our own experience, good, bad, energy level, excitement level, interest, and just like, are you plugged in? And when it came to my certification offer, it was like 1,000,000% yes. Like, this was so fun. I've never really become a coach of the coaches until this point. I freaking loved it. And my energy was high. I was so impressed by these people and the way they were able to pick up what I was teaching them and apply it and then go out and create offers and make money. It just fired me up. So loved it. So my experience was really excellent with this offer. So that one got a gold star. All right. Last thing we're going to audit is the pricing. And when you look at your pricing, in my experience, most of us start too low. I've gotten better at that. Um, it's always kind of good to scale and stair step up a little bit. Or if you run like a beta group with a discount, like what I did, we can stair step up from that. But when it comes to pricing, we have to evaluate our time and energy spent versus the compensation. At any point where you're like, I'm doing a lot of work and I'm really not getting paid as much as I should, if that thought crosses your mind, we have to level up our pricing so that it's aligned, where you're like, I'm spending a lot of time and energy, but it's worth it because I'm very happy with the price that I'm charging. And you're still producing results, and all these other variables, that we started off talking about today, we still can check all those boxes: the results, the client education, the right people are signing up at that price point. All those things still have to be checked off. So evaluate the time and energy spent versus the compensation, and also consider the results produced. All right. I was pleasantly surprised that a large quantity of my students were creating new offers or adding what I taught them into their current offers, and raised prices or create a new offer, and we're getting new clients, like, right as they're finishing their certification, or even before they finish their certification. And that tells me increased value. So I felt very comfortable with bumping up my price for the next group that I'm launching, because I'm like, these people are making their money back during the certification, or right, very close to the end of the certification. That gave me a lot of confidence. So if you're seeing results like that, you're like, okay, I can nudge this price up because they're going to see that return on investment quickly. All right. Now, on the other side, if you're like, wow, the ROI, I'm not sure if it's there for them yet, then probably need to keep the price about what it is. Or, that's why we're doing this whole auditing process, is what can we change to produce better results and optimize pricing and optimize our experience and their experience. So this is a handy process to go through, obviously. Just to recap and rethink through this, you gotta look at your sales, aka did the ideal client sign up? You gotta look at the client education experience. You have to look at the expected results that you set for this offer. You have to look at our experience as the coach or the creator of the offer. And then we evaluate pricing last. And if you can check all these boxes, and I challenge you, like, if you have an existing offer, go through this, look at these 5 things, and really be honest with yourself. And you can use this to fix an offer that isn't converting as well, or you aren't making enough profit from, or the experience of the client isn't quite there. Dial it in, use this, and maybe do a little tweaking and rebranding and relaunching and get better results. Collect those testimonials, and off you go. All right. Now, obviously, I've been talking about the podcast growth coach certification as an example here. We are launching a new cohort. I'm going to take 15 people for that. The application link is in the show notes. You need to apply. We're going to have a conversation before you're accepted, because again, I want the right fit people in this group, and I need you to know exactly what you're getting into. And people that get in, we're going to really rock and roll, and you're going to have a new offer and new platform built out before the end of the year, so you can capitalize that in 2025 and beyond. So the link for the info and the application is in the show notes for this episode. Would love to have you take a peek at that. Or if you know somebody, I've got a great referral program, an affiliate program. You don't even have to officially register for it, but if you know podcast managers, podcast coaches, editors, producers, even people in like the social media editing space, this is a great addition for them. And send them to the link on the website. There's a box that says who told you about it. If your name goes in that box, I'll look you up and I will compensate you handsomely for your referral if they're accepted. So appreciate you all for tuning in. Hopefully you are excited to dial in your own offers and create real winners that produce great results for your audience and great results for you and your business. I appreciate you all. I'm going to send you out into the world wishing you health, happiness, and many downloads. We'll see you next time. Attention all podcast editors, podcast producers, podcast managers, and podcast coaches. I'm now taking applications for my next podcast growth coach certification cohort. If you're ready to learn my proven podcast growth system and add a podcast growth service to your offer platform, just use the link in the episode notes to get more info and apply to join the next certification group in September of 2024.